WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
You've just tuned into Women, Wisdom, and the Word with your hosts,
Pastor Tehila,
Minister Tamara Murray,
Minister David Williams,
Minister Bridget Norvell.
And remember, you can never overdose on wisdom.
Good morning, Central Florida. Wow, what a day. Okay, you have to know. Women, welcome to Women, Wisdom, and the Word. We have to have roller skates on at all times.
Yes.
Yes, all times. Hello, Central Florida. We're here. We made it. I want to say hello to everyone, and we have our guests around the table. We'll wait till everybody gets settled. Until they get settled, we have a special guest today.
Yes.
Christian marriage counselor specialist. His name is Terri Polite. Yes, he's very polite.
I don't know if polite can be the word to describe Terri.
But, he's polite. And he has a website called loveandreallife.com. And we're going to have a great time. I'm going to give you a chance to call your friends and let them know that we're talking about relationships today.
Yes.
Relationship and expectations. Now, are we asking too much when we go into a relationship? Oh, wow. You have to stay tuned for that. But till then, in the news. Wait, is everybody ready to say hello?
Yes,
we have
are.
our host.
Yes.
I'm the announcer.
Well. Good afternoon, Central Florida. This is Pastor Tehila. Just excited today to be on the show. And we have...
Oh, this is Tamara, bringing a little sunshine your way as always.
Amen. Well, we're going to talk about in the news real quick. And did you know, Pastor Tehila, that Billy Graham was in the hospital for pneumonia? Yes, but I have breaking news. Guess what?
He's back home.
Speedy recovery. This is just like 2 days ago. Evangelist Billy Graham had a quick recovery and returned home to North Carolina. He said, I am also grateful for the prayers and the letters I received from the people across the country, around the world during my short stay. Such an outpour of love and support is always a blessing, but was especially appreciated during my hospitalization. So, prayer work.
That's right.
When they said Billy Graham, I said, we got to call some prayer warriors. You can't have Billy.
Yes, not yet.
No, not yet. But it was awesome. And, if for people out there that's going through anything, it shows you the power of prayer.
Yes.
And this, Evangelist Billy Graham is 93 years old. 93.
Wow.
So, hey, he still have another decade to go. So, hey, what did we say the other day? 120 years old? He has, how much more years to go? Because, the Bible said we can't live past 100.
He's 93.
Yeah, so he's 93. So he has a whole, he got a lot more to go. So we want to say God, thank God and God bless Evangelist Billy Graham. And so we're excited about that. Next in the news. Now, I don't know how true it is, and maybe, Glenn get all the info too. I heard a rumor that Benny Hinn and Susan Hinn, as you know, they're back together, but they're going to get remarried at Calvary Assembly. I don't know how true that is. It's a rumor, but I know I want to go to the wedding. But as you know, back in February 2010, they were separated, and his wife filed for divorce. Popular televangelist Benny Hinn, who they said last month, that was in June, late last month, and I could say it's in June, announced he was reconciling with his former wife Susan Hinn.
Wow.
Yes, they revealed that the divorce came about due to her struggle with addiction and prescription pills. Despite the past hardship, Benny Hinn affirmed that the love he shared with his wife is now stronger than ever. The covenant we made with God for more than 30 years.
Wow.
Was never broken in his sight.
Yeah, I actually saw them on TVN, and she was, coming out in the forefront as well, presenting the program that he usually does, and they were doing it together, co-hosting this thing. It was wonderful to see. You could see how, he was just so loving and so supportive of her. And we know also that I think it takes two to tango, right?
That's right.
So we also know that the man of God himself had some things to put in order in his house.
That's right.
You see,
That's
so
right.
it's
awesome.
It's a wonderful testimony, really, to see.
And he also said, he revealed that they were planning to open up a home for couples who are struggling in their marriage.
Wow.
Yes, and there'll be more details later. But that's so exciting because that's what this show is going to be about today, about relationships and expectations.
Yes, it's just not more. It's not just about today, but it's something that we.
It's our series.
Yes.
We
are opening it up.
We are, and opening it up. We were expecting a call from a website, as you know that I helped put the show together. So I found a website, and another great couple. I want to say, God, send blessings to them too. David and Tamala Mann, 20 years. They said in an era where divorce is on the rise and marriage is being challenged on a national platform, it's a refreshing to be able to celebrate at least one couple who have reached a milestone in their union. And talented David and Tamala Mann recently celebrate their 22nd wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yes. Now, David and Tamala Mann, if you don't know, Mr. Brown, Meet the Browns. With Tyler Perry. They had a show on TBS. Yes, TBS. So I don't know if they still have the show, but I know I see the reruns. But we want to congratulate the beautiful couple. They had a picture on this website called My Husband is My Best Friend.
Wow.
Yes, that's My Husband is My Best Friend.net. Her name is Tracy Wright, and what she does is have pictures of married couples, just not celebrities. She works for the celebrities. She's a designer to the celebrities, but she has pictures of different people on how marriage should look. So all different type of couples. I mean, this.
I need to get on that website. I want to have a look at it. Maybe I need to send
a picture in.
There you are. There you go.
Yes.
I wonder if I've been married long enough.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
All right.
As long as we're still married.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And you know what? Your marriage is a joy. A lot of times we are seeing divorce on the rise, but with Pastor Benny Hinn, David and Tamala Mann, we're seeing that the devil's becoming defeated.
Yes.
He's
Amen.
becoming defeated. So, hey, he think he's won, but we, like I said to you the other day, Pastor, I read Revelation, and I said that's my favorite book. Why? We won.
Because we win. We win.
Yes, a lot of people run from Revelation, but hey, we won. More news. Listen, I know you heard the announcement, but we want to correct Friday. This Friday.
Yes, the 16th.
The 17th, isn't it?
It's the 17th.
17th.
Okay.
You sending them there early? Hey, might as well send them early. But we will have Sovereign in the house. We're pulling that raffle ticket. You still can win. You still have a chance to win with Forward in Faith Ministries. We're going to have a night of worship and a night of fun, and bring the kids. I'm telling you, everyone has a good time when Forward in Faith.
Yeah, we're having door prizes.
Door prizes.
Yes.
3 days at a Disney vacation home. And
it's a 5-star luxury.
5-star luxury vacation home.
That's right.
Walmart gift card and a dinner for two, and much, much more. So you don't want to miss this. For more information, contact Miss Benita at 407-486-9141. That's 407-486-9141. And the address is 11609 South Orange Blossom Trail, Suite 204. That's 11609 South Orange Blossom Trail, Suite 204, Orlando, Florida 32837. Check us out on our website, www.forwardandfaithministryorlando.com. That's FIFMORL.com. And this show is also sponsored by Forward in Faith Ministry and Get the 411. We also have another one coming up, another upcoming event, and that's September 27th. That's our national conference. I forgot about preparing to be a wife, but we'll August 23rd.
We skipped over that one.
Yeah, I was just frowning, thinking, I think there's something supposed
Yes.
between
Preparing
that.
to be a wife, but we could
And you left out something really important about Saturday's concert and the giveaways. Friday night. Pastor Tahila is not in the drawing. So
really?
You don't have that competition. You don't have to worry.
Are we closing?
No.
Are we going to close the door and lock her in the office?
No.
Lock her up.
Oh, you're not going to do that.
Yes, we are.
No.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Listen, I've been praying, binding, and loosing. The ticket is mine.
We're going to bind her up in the office. We're going to tie her up and put her in the office. If anyone, if you go on the website for it, FIFMORL.com, you will see Pastor Tahila picture. So print it out and point her out if you see her at the drawing.
Anywhere near the drawing.
The most wanted woman, yeah?
Yes. We don't want her near the drawing. Preparing to be a wife. August 23rd through the 25th, we're going to have some fun. That's going to be a boot camp. And it's going to be in Davenport. Please reserve your spot, 407-434-1141. We're going to be talking about everything from relationship. And, I heard one young lady said, I don't want to be a wife, and I don't think I should be a wife. And I'm like, okay, are you a Christian? Well, do you believe in Jesus? Yes. Well, you're a wife because you're first married to God.
That's right. He said, my name is the Lord.
Wow.
I am your husband.
That's
You can
right.
find that in Isaiah.
Okay. Bible scholar over here. So, hey, if you have, I love where Pastor put it, give it to them the way you gave it to them. If you have
And what? Sorry.
a wound.
Sorry. Right. If you have a womb, anyone at all, even if it's been removed,
You're still a woman.
you're still a woman. You are so welcome. It's more than just preparing to be a wife. It's more than that. It's just getting us back in that place as a woman. You'll be amongst other women. You'll be amongst people who are going to be mentoring us during this weekend, teaching us. It's just a time where there's deliverance, there's restoration, there's discussion, there's conversation. It's a time of being lifted up as well. So please do make it. This is an awesome opportunity. Right.
Yes, it is. Okay, well, Caribbean Sunshine Bakery, 20-year anniversary, September 3rd for Labor Day. We will be out there, and he'll have some special guests from Lieutenant Stitchy and more. At the festival field, the Citrus Bowl downtown Orlando. So you don't want to miss that. When we come back, we will bring on our special guests. You have time to call all your friends because you really want to hear this man.
He is an awesome
He's
man.
awesome. And we're hoping to have him
Often.
at the Preparing to Be a Wife also to maybe stop by
yes,
and
yes.
talk to the ladies
Now
and put him,
that is
him out
exciting.
there.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
very,
man.
very courageous man.
Yes.
Well, he's gonna bring his wife, so
Okay.
Yes,
He's gonna
he'll
have a
also
backup.
bring his wife. That's
Yes.
right. So when we come back, we will talk to Christian counselor Terri Polite.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
keeping you informed and lifted up. We're your urban empowerment and inspiration station, 1680 WOKB.
Hello everyone, this is Benita. I am so happy and excited to invite you to join us for a spectacular fundraising event being held here at Forward in Faith Ministry Saturday, August 18th at 7:30 p.m. The address is 11609 South Orange Blossom Trail, Suite 204. We are currently raffling tickets for just $25 for chances to win 3 days at a Disney vacation home, Walmart gift cards, dinner for 2 gift cards, and much, much more. For more information, please contact me, Benita, at 407-486-9141 or visit us on our website, Forward in Faith Ministry website. That's FIFMORL.com.
You're listening to the Urban Empowerment and Inspiration Station, 1680 WOKB.
Forward in Faith Ministries, a ministry bounded by the Spirit of God. We are located 11609 South Orange Blossom Trail, Suite 204, Orlando, Florida. Our service times and days are following: Sunday, devotionals at 1:30, service at 2:30. Ladies' prayer meeting on Tuesdays at 7:30. Bible study and prayer on Fridays at 7:30. If you would like to find out more about our ministry, log on to www.fifmorl.com.
Your urban empowerment and inspiration station, WOKB.
Are you single, married, divorced, or a widow? Well, Daughter of Purpose and Removing the Mask present their Preparing to Be a Wife Soul Retreat, August 23rd through the 25th, 2012, hosted by Pastor Tehila Gutierrez and Pastor Bridget Norvell. For more information, just log on to www.getthe411.biz. That's www.getthe411.biz to register.
Gospel 1680 WOKB.
Okay, we're back. We're back to get into our conversation. Now, the other day, I ran into a website, Pastor, and I put it on Facebook, and it's called Black and Married with Kids. And they said there was a relationship topic. If you had a choice, would it be a man who is a great provider or a great friend? You didn't want to see the response. So I think this is what geared up the some of what geared up the conversation today about expectations. And we have our guest today in the studio, Mr. Terri. I was going to say Vincent, but Mr. Terri Polite. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm excited. I'm bursting out this morning because, I've had a few conversations with Mr. Terri, and you may call him Mr. Terri, just trying to be proper here.
Mr. Terri.
Yes, trying to be very proper. And I love just the way he thinks, as I pick his brains. And this morning we had already started this conversation before we came on air today, and it's been very interesting. Well, we were talking about expectations, and initially I started speaking about, what a man or what a woman would expect before they enter into a relationship, in the relationship, and even afterwards, because we do have people who are divorced or they're widowed or separated or in that arena, and he just turned around and said, "Well, what about God's expectations? God has expectations on us too, So it was like, okay, wow.
If you want to engage in a conversation, I forgot. 407-894-1680. That's 407-894-1680. You might want to ask Mr. Terri, as Pastor would say, Mr. Terri, some questions that we're going to pose today. So,
and mind you, we've already heard his expertise that he's a Christian counselor.
Yes.
So today we will have the biblical perspective.
Yes.
And I was saying this is excellent because he's a man, so we're going to get that view from a man's point of view, and he's a Christian counselor as well, so he's experienced. Please we just want to welcome you on the show once again, and just give us an uptake on how you see the society now, the expectations that we all have in these all different places in life, whether you're a woman, man, and godly expectations too, on a relationship, marriage as well.
Okay, let me give you a little preface on my background that got me into this area.
Okay.
I was married before. I didn't do anything the way that God intended a marriage to go.
Wow.
I didn't seek him in the marriage. I didn't raise my kids in church or cover my house from a godly perspective. And as a result, let's just say the Lord knocked me on my butt. And he took everything that I held dear away to get my attention.
Wow.
So through that transformation, I came to understand just how important the whole way that we view relationships, marriage, is to God. Because we have to understand that the first covenant created by God was marriage.
Yes.
Okay? In the Garden of Eden, he created a marriage when he created Eve from Adam's rib. Okay? So that's the first covenant. Okay? Anything that God creates has a purpose and a plan.
Thank you.
When you corrupt a purpose or a plan of something, it becomes an anomaly and it doesn't function the way that God intended it to. And that's where we are today in society. We see so many people that are doing relationships the way that they want to, and they're forgetting about God's purpose and plan for marriage and relationships. So, my ministry is to focus on that and help people get back to the plan that God has for them, because he has a plan for each of us. And we have to submit to that if we want the blessing of relationships and marriages.
Wow.
Do you see you're the only one that, because it's strange to hear a man say that, I saw where I went wrong.
Yes.
And so do you see a lot of men stepping up to the plate to say that? Or
Certainly.
They are?
Certainly.
Okay.
I counsel as well through several ministries, primarily First Baptist here. And one of the things that I am seeing more is men being more responsive and willing to step up and say, you know what, I jacked this situation up. I need to make it right. My family's hurting, my wife is hurting, and it's all because of the choices that I've made. And they come in and they realize when they submit to God's authority, that has to take place. It's men that are willing to submit to God's authority as the head of their life. Because without that, we as Christian men, we have no power if we're not willing to subject ourselves to God's authority. So that's the first step that I see them come in, and they're seeking forgiveness and to align themselves with the Word of God.
And even in the church, I'm seeing that more often. The men that are in Forward in Faith Ministries, they are awesome. They are just men really who are seeking God's leadership, God's direction when it comes to family. And I think you're quite correct. Even a few days ago, I came across a couple where the man was desperate. He was absolutely desperate to see his family, experience stability. And, he was crying out, Pastor, help me and my wife. And it was like, wow, it amazed me that this man recognized that he needed help in his marriage, because he's not accepting defeat, So, and he wants his marriage to be built up. So that is what I'm seeing more and more often now coming to the table. I think 2 weeks ago we married one of our deacons to one of our deaconesses in the church, and we are seeing really men who are developing the heart of God towards marriage, towards their wives. But I think it's our turn now, we, the women.
Yes, I was going to say that. Now, we're talking about the men, but do we put too much on, do the women, and I'm talking as a woman, do we put too much on the man, do you see that?
No, I don't see it that way. The first thing is, let's go back to what I said about the way that it functions.
Yes.
If the man is the head, okay, and God communicates to the family through him, and he's out of order, then the rest of it, everything behind him is going to be out of order. And it's like I had a conversation a week ago with a friend of mine, and I told him his wife, she's running around. They just bought a new home, okay, and they had been staying with relatives. And she was always just at him, and they had conflict constantly. And I kept telling him, you need to put your house in order. There are certain things that you need to do that once you do those things, you'll see a different woman.
That's right.
I say a woman has a need to feel protected.
That's it.
Okay, and needed. When you can get to that position, when you put your marriage in that position where your wife feels protected and needed, and she's nesting. Women love to nest. Y'all just want to go in and y'all want to create a home and an environment that's based on nurturing and loving.
And
so,
we don't care if it's a closet.
Exactly.
We're going to that closet up.
That's right.
And when you're not in your purpose, you don't function right.
That's right.
Dysfunctional.
Exactly. So that's why you're going to hear the woman in the ear. She's going to confront you. Constantly. Because she's not getting what she needs out of it.
Okay.
So the first thing is the man has got to realize that it's more to being married than just saying so. There are certain things and certain conditions that need to be put in place. I always encourage women to understand that you guys hold the power in any relationship.
That's right. I
because
agree.
Men will follow you. We have to have you. We have to have you. Y'all can function without us. We can't function without you guys. And that's true.
Now, that's what I discovered. That, a woman can live without a man, but a man cannot live without a woman, because that's what the Word of God said.
Yes.
It's not good for man to be alone.
And I said the same thing the other day to someone else. They said, why is it when two people separate, the man always find another woman so quick? But
Very quick.
Woman will stay separated because they have to have that.
We can survive without you. We can't live without you.
Wow.
Okay.
So sometimes there's a difference between surviving and living.
So which means that you can be in a marriage and you're just surviving in that marriage. You're not living, but it's
a lot of people out there that have been married 10, 20, 30 years, and they sleep in different rooms.
Yes.
I could never understand.
They have their
in
own
one
bank
house.
account.
Right. Yes.
Exactly.
In one house.
That's how you can be
You're in survival mode.
Yes.
That's not a relationship. And that's not a covering.
We talked about that because I said my separation started in my house.
Yeah.
Washing different clothes. Well, washing separately, our clothes separately, cooking separately, going places separately.
So you were roommates.
So we were roommates, yes.
So you could be married and be with someone and still be lonely. Be alone.
And look at this. With the man, you said something. You triggered something. I think he was okay with it. But with me, I felt the separation. Yes.
So because he disengaged. When you disengage a man, he looks for a replacement. Okay? He may
Women,
still
you
be
need
there.
to call it 407-894-1680. This is getting good.
Because it goes back. We need you guys. We don't say that. And I know guys are probably flipping out in their cars and going, he's selling the game, he's selling the game. That is the truth. We don't function well because we need that nurturing, and that we want to be the hero. That's our role. Okay, we're the protector.
Yes.
So if I'm not protecting anything, I'm not functioning the way that God created.
But
if I'm not covering something, I'm not functioning the way that God created me to be.
So that means men also have a need to be needed too.
Yes.
So that they can fulfill their purpose.
I was going to say that we must give y'all purpose. Is that true? Would you say we give you purpose? Some type of sense of purpose.
It gives us a desire of purpose, and walking in that. When we're not in that, again, we don't function right.
But Getting back to today's central point, which is expectations. I think a marriage is shaped out of the expectations, or certainly initially, but as we mature, we may have those expectations change. But I think as we enter into that marriage, our initial settling down in it all is shaped by what we expected. You see, getting back to our expectations. So when a marriage now, some of the things that we've mentioned, when we now live dysfunctionally or there's distance in the marriage, is it because we entered with the wrong expectations?
But it's because we don't understand the importance of where we get our expectations from.
Okay.
So if grandma and mom had dysfunctional relationships and we learned that pattern, then that's our expectation. That's the baseline for our expectations. And that's how we're going to approach relationships. So when we have the wrong expectations or don't know the right ones, it tends not to work. And often people won't refer to God and say, well, what does God expect from me being in this relationship? The first thing that God wants us to learn from relationships is how to commit to something outside of ourselves.
Okay.
Because that's what having a relationship with God is about. We have to seek Him. We have to put self away and seek the face of God first and foremost. So it's
even in a partner, even in a relationship, we have to seek God. Is this what you want me to walk into? Is this my partner? Is this my husband? Is this my wife? So when we miss that, that means that then the expectations become distorted.
Exactly.
Would you say that?
We often ask God, say, God, is this the one? And we won't hear from God, or we don't hear the answer we want. And we walk right into it, and then we say, well, God, I need you to bless my mess.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a struggle.
Ouch.
The whole time, and God gave us the answer or didn't answer us, because sometimes no answer is the answer.
Mm-hmm. Could I ask you a question? Do you think that's something that needs to be taught? You understand about, okay, I'm a young lady. I'm at home with my parents, and I'm expecting at a certain age to be married, but no one has taught me the godly principles about what marriage is. So I go out on my own, and I have an expectation of what I think I want. It has nothing to do with really what God's word is saying. So do you think that's something that we need to teach in the home, our young women and our young men?
Teaching the church.
I was going to say that because the home might not know
it. It goes back, and again, we bring it back round to what the function of marriage is, okay? Because the first example that we're going to see is the one in the home. If it's not following the guidelines of what God wants for marriage, and I see that, then I'm not going to choose correctly.
Right.
But I like what she asked. She asked, do we need to be taught? Do you need, because I think at my, in my very early 20s, my expectations in a relationship, I thank God for the mother that I had. She would talk to me, she would show me, we would have great conversations, about relationships, about marriage. Mind you, because of cultural background, it's very, very different from where I'm coming from, being from Africa, coming from Southern Africa. So we are taught, these things are spoken about, looking, and it wasn't just me, who had to make a decision on a husband, I had to look to my parents. What did they say?
I like that.
I had to look to my, my family. And whenever, for instance, where I come from, if I meet a guy and he likes me and I like him, there's just that pull towards each other.
Attraction.
Yes. What I would do is I would take him to my oldest sister. Then my oldest sister will give an evaluation, look at him. Then the next meeting will be, I will then take him to my aunt, who is the youngest, not the oldest, the youngest in our family, the youngest aunt, who would then communicate this to the rest of the family that, you know what, Tehila has found somebody. We have seen him. He's coming from a good background. You know, if there's any shortcomings on him, but we think maybe she should wait, or we think that's not the right one. What do you think? Then, you know, you might get a call. Oh, why don't you guys go and visit Auntie so-and-so? You know, we go and visit that aunt. You know, he's being vetted. And people are talking to me, they're giving me feedback. So when I do step into this relationship and I back up to some problems later on, you know, you always get someone saying, we did tell you. You know, we spoke about this.
But see, that's critical. Now, to answer your question, yes, you should be taught. But more so, what you identified, the vetting process that you take them through the family, it plays into this. Most people don't understand that there are different stages of love. The first stage you get into is called eros. Eros is the emotional, the sexual, and the lustful stage. That period lasts about 2 years. Okay. So during that time, he or she can have as many flaws as possible. You don't care because you're only focusing on the feeling that you get from being in that relationship.
The sensation.
That's why people wake up 3 years, 4 years in, and they're like,
"What have I done?
What did I do?" And the family and friends have always told you, she's no good, or he's a dog. We tried to tell you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you see it.
Yes.
Would you
now
say
you're trying
call
to
it the
backpedal.
sensation? We're in the sensation of the moment.
You're in the lust of the moment.
Basking in the ambience of the moment. Now, let me ask you another question, because most of the time we're talking on a secular realm. And because this is a Christian show, we're addressing Christian women. You mentioned something about asking God, is this the one? How do we do that if we don't have a relationship with God?
Have a relationship with God first.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing.
Because you can't get an answer from God if you don't have a relationship with Him.
Understand, if you want the best of marriage and relationship, those are God-given creations. So the best way for them to function is if you put them under God's covering.
That's right.
And it brings it back to where you're centering it up on where it should be.
But I noticed, because there was a situation that happened to me yesterday, this same conversation, and I asked them, now they're a Christian, but the person isn't. So I said to the person, have you tried to, have you talked to God? Because they're going through the lusts of it. And I'm like, did you take it to God? I don't want to hear what God said. That's what they said. They're like, I'm liking it too much. And that's a scary.
Wow.
And that's how we get into us.
That's how we get in trouble.
Yes.
Well, that's right there. You already know something's not right.
That's how we get into a mess.
And see, it goes back to not hearing what God tells us.
Yeah.
Yes.
We take no answer.
The consequences. You see, the consequences that we have to live with after that. I like what you said. After the 2 years, the consequences now start to kick in. You have been with this person. Now you're looking at, what you are lumbered with. You see, that wasn't God's choice for you. Another interesting thing that we spoke about, I think it was yesterday, you mentioned about one of your girlfriends who said when they have expectations, or someone anyway, when they had you were speaking about expectations, and she says, well, I need a guy that can provide.
Yes, did you want a best friend or a provider? What kind of man would you like, a best friend or a provider? She said she had enough friends. She needed a provider.
Could I have both?
That's
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why can't it be both?
Yeah, you have to be very careful. It's not, you're not leaning towards one side of things. You must be able to have well, everyone has got expectations anyway, whether you're coming from the most brilliant home, stable mother and father, you are in church and you've been taught, you still have expectations, but they need to be balanced. There needs to be a balance. If you are looking for a provider and that's all you're looking at his bank balance, you're looking at his credit score, you're looking at what he's driving, oh yeah, I've heard. I have heard about that. Where women are being advised. On CNN, I've been watching the news, and, there are organizations out there, you can do it.
But see, it's extremes. You either have women
That's what I'm saying, balance.
That set a standard too high. Not just women, men do it too. They set the standards too unrealistic or too loose. We have more loose now. Anybody that walks in and tells them that they're cute, I love you, or I've got a Benz and, I got a lakefront home, come stay with me.
Right.
And
then we have trophy wives.
We qualify them through the flesh.
Trophy wives.
And you know what? Then you see, that's what you see initially. All these things, that's what you see. But you don't realize there's probably great debt behind that. That you're going to marry into. That debt,
I like what Terri just said. Can we get the second, you said 3 levels, 3 stages of love?
Oh, Eros and
there's
I know the last one is agape.
Eros,
Philia.
Yeah.
And agape.
Okay, so talk about the philia.
Philia is the stage where you're in a committed relationship. Okay, that's the one where you love this person, and it's one where you're committed to their well-being. They matter to you, how they feel, what they desire, and you form a bond. Philo means brother or bond. So that's the second stage. Okay, and agape is more of a committed, spiritual connection and love.
Unconditional. No matter what happens, I'm still there.
That soul tie.
It's the soul tie stage.
I like that.
Wow. It's really there. A lot of people have that. You wouldn't believe it, given what we hear in the media. But a lot of people are at that stage. I know for me, when I got married again, I knew before my wife did that she was my wife because I had prayed about it.
Okay, see, I like that.
Some things had came up, and she was like, she had been through a previous marriage, and she was not feeling it, trust me. And she told me so. And I was like, well, I'm going to walk away. And God said, no, this is your wife. This is who I've selected you to spend the rest of your life with. There are things that you and her are going to minister about.
You just said something. She wasn't feeling it?
No.
That's,
expectations. And I know she's not here, but what was it that she saw in you, not with her spiritual eyes, but most likely she was looking from her natural and saying, I'm not feeling this?
No, it had been what she had experienced.
I was just going to say
my
that.
Wife, okay, I'll give you a little background. She's an evangelist. She had preached all over New York region. Okay. She went through some church hurt and some church victimization.
Okay.
So in that process, her marriage ended, and it left her very scarred, and she was afraid, and she kept seeking God about what she should do. And God had told me, because I was in a different place of transition than she was, I had to wait and say, you know what, I'm going to be obedient. And this was hard for me because you know me from back. I just used to, whatever I wanted to do, I did. I didn't wait for anybody's word. And I waited. Now, my wife, and I always share this, she's the first woman that I ever had a relationship with that I didn't become sexually active with before we got married.
Wonderful.
Okay, and we met, and we were engaged for a year. So this is the first time in my life I had to practice celibacy.
Wow.
So that taught me commitment.
Yes.
I got to know her. I got to see our union becomes something that God created versus my flesh and her flesh. Okay? I had to submit, and it began my process of becoming a better husband.
Amazing, because oh my goodness,
And
continue.
there, God can change any. If He can change me from what I used to be, because I'm going to put it out there. I know this is a Christian station, but I used to be a hoe. Okay, I hate to put it that way.
Look, we all had a background before we came in.
That's my backstory, you know. And so I love women, and I pursue that love, and you know it. But there's only so much you can do.
That's
and
right.
it leaves you empty and shallow. You know, you're going from this person to this person to this person. You're looking for fulfillment.
And you started it off right. A lot of times we do end up getting into a relationship and maybe testing out the waters, they would call it, you know, doing that little, I'm just testing out the water. But it's something that Pastor said the other day. I don't know if you can remember what you said about, but I think you call it premarital sex.
Premarital sex, yes.
Yes. And when you live with that person and having sex with that person, and now you go into a marriage.
And that's what we were talking about before the show. You know, people say, well, I want to live with him, but I don't want to get married.
Oh, my.
Okay, so what are you living with them for?
Wow.
We're having sex. Okay, but why are you having sex? You're doing everything that married people do, but you don't want to be married? So why are you doing that?
Yes.
If you want the best in a relationship or a marriage, you have to do it the way that God intended it to be.
I normally see people like that has commitment issues.
I was going to say it's a matter of fear.
Yes, it's a commitment, because I always say, how's their relationship with God? Their relationship with God. Because if they can't commit to you, 9 out of 10, they have not committed to God.
Yeah. They haven't submitted to God.
Yes.
One of the most interesting things that I'm just learning just now, I knew my husband 2 years, a complete 2 years, here in Central Florida, here in Florida, before he even approached me. And I discovered that before he proposed, he prayed and fasted with a prayer partner in Australia. So they would call each other and they will pray. And, you know, he would ask, you know, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I want. She's a pastor and I'm under her. And she is a widow with her own children. He has never been married. He doesn't have any children. You know, all these things, they were on the plate, you know, as you said. But they prayed and God said, yes. You know, God said, that's it. You know, so it's amazing what you just said. I believe he had to move from the Eros stage. You know, that stage, you know, it had to be lived out.
Yes.
You know, now it's just a very stable relationship, extremely stable. And I believe also at that stage is a stage of working some things out. I think for you, when God said to you, stay, you can't walk away. So it's also a stage of working some things out so that there's a foundation, a solid foundation that's being built, ready for whatever that can come, you know, in the later years, you see. So it's very important that we are not governed by even our backgrounds, you see.
Exactly.
When we're coming from dysfunctional families, you know, one-parent families, you know, from abusive family homes, you know, abusive atmospheres, you know, we really need to seek God and take yourself out of the equation. There's something that you said that was very interesting, that you have to discover the purpose. You see, once you know the purpose, then, you know,
the purpose of the relationship. Okay.
Yeah, the purpose of marriage.
Of marriage. Okay.
You see, and I think Minister Terri, you mentioned something about purpose. It's something that you mentioned about families that God does everything through a family.
It does. I mean, it's the first covenant that God ever created with man. Mm-hmm. And marriage, and I get flack for this all the time, but there's only one type of marriage. That's between man and woman.
Amen.
And God.
Amen.
You can go down to the courthouse. You can get a civil union. That's recognized by earthly governments. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. But if you want the best of what marriage is, it has to be a committed relationship, covenant relationship between a man, a woman, and God. Everything else is nothing but a poor man's imitation.
That's and right. Not even civil union. You have common law marriages. That's there. People run around saying, "Well, but I've been with them for 3 years, so or 4 years. They look at us as
married."
When you go down, you go to dissolve your marriage, right? Mm-hmm. The first thing you go to the courts to do it, right? Mm-hmm. What are they concerned about? Assets. They're not concerned about the spiritual damage that it creates for the family.
Yes.
Okay, they're not concerned about the kids, and don't even get me started about the whole child support thing. Yeah. So that tells you where the focus is. God is concerned about your spiritual walk, your commitment in a relationship. You're now committed yourself to being joined with someone, and holding that relationship together, mm-hmm. and holding it up to God. We're saying we now come into a covenant with you, and we're willing to obey you, mm-hmm. and follow you to fulfill the purpose that you set forth for this family.
Yeah. Now, this is it. Now, you've said that marriage. You can have all these other kinds of marriages that are out there now, mm-hmm. but the best is that spiritual union, that covenant. I believe that there is no other greater or greatest institution under this earth that has been ordained by God than marriage. That's what God instituted for us here on earth, marriage, right from the beginning. So we can want to bystep this. We can want to be creative about it. We can want to invent it and so forth. But I so much strongly agree with you. This is the best.
I mean, and think about this. I'm just leaving this food for thought. What is being attacked in this country and around the world? Marriage. And families.
Yes.
Because Satan knows that if he can destroy the family and marriages, mm-hmm. he can overthrow the kingdom. That's what he's looking for. Now, we know that he's not going to win that fight because God is undefeated, never been tied. So in his little mind, this is what he wants to attack. Mm-hmm. We remove ourselves from God's protection when we don't do those institutions the way
that's right
that he intended us to.
Okay. That's right.
Mm-hmm. For the last words, since it's on expectation, can you or Pastor tell us what, as our closing, what should we then be expecting in a relationship before we get in this relationship?
Well, the first thing you should expect in any relationship is what is the purpose that God has for it. You have to have that as the first thought. Okay? Is this a God-ordained relationship? Does it glorify God in any way? Wow. We often are looking at our own selfish needs or desires when we get into, and not just marriages, but business relationships,
yes.
spiritual relationships. We have to start looking at how we're going to glorify God in those relationships. If there's no glory in it for God, then more than likely it's not a relationship you should have.
Selfish ambitions.
Exactly. It's called selfless love. That's what marriages should be about. That you should be so committed to your mate that you're willing to put aside your own selfish desires and make sure that they're loved, they're protected, and their needs are met. If you can do that for each other, you have one of the best relationships and marriages out there.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Right. Well, for me, expectations.
Okay.
You need to be careful.
Okay.
You need to be counseled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you find that mate and you've prayed and you believe God is leading you into a relationship, into a marriage with them, I believe that one must be counseled. Seek counsel. Don't just step into these life changing decisions on your own. Get counsel. There's help out there.
Mm-hmm.
As Mr. Terri already is a Christian counselor. Seek help.
Yes.
Yeah, seek help. And that's what I've got to say, because expectations can lead you into a mess.
Yes.
Yes.
And as Pastor just said, yes, you do have people such as Mr. Terri Polite, Christian marriage counselor, loveinreallife.com, where you said you're with First Baptist Church. Can you tell them real quick how to get in contact with you?
You can contact me through the Pregnancy Center at First Baptist. You can go to the website. There's contact information through that ministry. I'm part of the mentoring program there, and we do premarital mentoring, family mentoring, and marriage mentoring.
Amen. Well, don't forget about our upcoming event this Friday, our fundraiser concert. That's musical guest Sovereign. They will be in the house with the door prices. You can still purchase your raffle ticket for $25 for a 5-star 3-day Disney vacation home, Walmart gift card, or a dinner for 2, and much, much more. You have just listened to Women, Wisdom, and the Word. If you want more information about this program, anything you've heard, all our upcoming events, please log on to www.fifmorl.com, and we will see you next week. God bless. And remember,
you can never overdose on wisdom.
Amen.
Wow.
Thank you for tuning in to Women, Wisdom, and the Word, a word of wisdom for all aspects of life.
And remember, you can never overdose on wisdom.